Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Big O Show. It's your boy Big O here once again. If this is your first time here on the channel, please do me a huge favor. I need you to hit that like button. I need you to hit that subscribe button. I need you to share this video with your friends and family. Let everybody know your boy is back, and we're going to keep putting out videos. So I finally had a chance to watch HeMan Masters of the Universe Revelations on Netflix. I actually just got done watching it. And I found the show to actually be really good. I haven't watched any of the hate videos that have been going around where people have been bashing Kevin Smith because I wanted to get my own opinion of it first. So this is gonna be a review, not a show by show by show, but just a full review because obviously I can't remember everything from episode to episode to episode. So, this is going to contain spoilers, just so you know. So if you have not watched if you have not watched the show, click out of this video, go watch it, then come back and let's discuss it. So basically, this show picks up from where the '80s TV show left off, and it was before I was born, so I don't know anything about the '80s TV show. I did start watching He-Man back in the early 2000s, but that was separate from the 80s TV show. This is a continuation from the 80s TV show that Kevin Smith decided to bring back. So it has no ties to the early 2000s He-Man TV show that was on Cartoon Network. So let's go ahead and just jump straight into it, shall we? Basically, the show starts off and you see somebody on a horse, and he's dragging two guys with him that are tied up, and they're on their way to Castle Grayskull. Meanwhile, the people of Eternia are celebrating something, or just partying in Eternia. Adam's there, the Queen and the King are there. Man-at-Arms is there with his daughter, Tila. I can't remember all the characters' names, so forgive me. So they're there celebrating, and meanwhile, when the figure pulls the cloak to reveal himself, it's He-Man. So you're kind of like, wait a minute, isn't Adam He-Man? How the hell is he here? So come to find out, it's not He-Man. It is a robot who ended up like melting off the outer layer of his skin and showed that it's a robot, and it's really Skeletor and his minions. They were trying to trick the sorcerers, the good sorcerers, into trying to get into the castle. So they managed to get into the castle. And they managed to start fighting her and everything. And Skeletor basically tells her, look, I know that the castle isn't the real power. It holds the source of the real power. And he ends up tapping his cane really hard, and it opens up the stairs below. Downstairs is where he ends up going, but he ends up, right not before she ends up trying to defend Skeletor's minions off. He tells her to call her champion. She ends up calling He-Man telepathically. He-Man tells Man-at-Arms, Eternia's not Eternia, but Castle Grayskull's under attack. We gotta go. So they end up going to Castle Grayskull. They get into a big fight. And so in so many words, what happens is, Skeletor's talking a lot of shit. I thought it was funny. But he basically tells Tila when she gets there, you're not the champion, you're the champion's cheerleader. So, before Skeletor delivers his blow to Tila, He-Man shows up. He gets into a fight with He-Man. She gets into a fight with Evil Lynn, who shows up. She's like the evil sorceress, basically. And, they got this big fight going on where everybody else is fighting up top. And so, basically, Skeletor tricks He-Man into stabbing him. And it releases it opens up the ore. Because the sword, I guess, has a lot of power, and it ends up cracking open the dome, or the protective cover that keeps the orb of all this power safe. It's all this magic in there, in this orb. And so, it opens up the orb, it opens up the safe with the orb in it, and, Skeletor takes his skull staff, stabs the orb, and right when he does it, the good sorcerer shows up and says, we only got a little bit of time. If you guys want to save Eternia, He-Man, you're gonna have to, use your sword. He figures out, hey, I know this is probably gonna kill me. This is a lot of magic, it's a lot of power, but I gotta do his best. So he says the magic words, I have the power. Lightning comes down, I believe, hits the sword, and it reverts him back to looking like Adam. And at that moment, that's where the sorceress kind of ends up disappearing. Because, when they were when she showed up there in kind of like a time bubble, so time stopped for a second. And then once she lets him know, hey, this is how you conserve Eternia, it's going to be at a great cost, that's when the sword, that's when she disappears, and then that's when everything reverts back, and that's when Skeletor sees that He-Man is really just a boy, and so he goes to take the split sword, I believe, of power, and that's when the whole thing blows up. Not before Teela sees that Adam was He-Man, and see that his friend or his pet tiger, who Adam can transform into an even more kick-ass tiger when he sends the energy beam at it. And not before she saw that the tiger was just the scaredy cat tiger. I can't remember what the fuck his name is. So anyway, basically, big explosion. He-Man, aka Adam, gone, dead. Skeletor, boom, gone, dead. And basically, it goes to the main castle, and the mom, the queen, knew somehow Adam was He-Man. She tells her husband who lost her son. So the husband's like, no, what's she talking about? He's fine. Isn't he man at arms? So man at arms is like, no. And that's when he tells the king, that's when man at arms tells the king Adam and He-Man were one and the same. And so that's when the king gets pissed off and he kicks him out and tells him he never wants to see him again, don't ever step foot in this place ever again. That's when he tells Teela, the king tells Teela, escort this man out. Teela starts tripping on everybody, like, fuck all y'all in so many words. Y'all lied to me. He-Man was Adam, Adam was He-Man, and none of y'all ever fucking told me. I risk my life for all y'all. Every day we went out there on the battlefield and y'all fucked me over. So fuck all y'all. She takes off her tiara, whatever, and leaves. And so this is where it picks up in episode 2. And episode 2, she's basically a mercenary for hire. She was hired by this old woman to find, I believe it was some type of cup. Her and I believe Andre, I believe is her name. It's a black chick. Wow. They end up going to Skeletor's lair, or used to be his lair, and one of his other minions is basically taking it over. So they get into a fight with a bunch of his minions, because now he's dead. Oh, also, I forgot to mention, some time has passed between episode 1 and episode 2. So it's been probably some years since episode 1 and episode 2. So when episode 2 comes in, it's some years later. Teela's cut her hair, and she's a mercenary for hire. So it's been some years that's passed. So a lot of things have changed now that there's no longer magic. So now this evil minion, they invaded the lair, he's basically like, look, fuck magic. It's all about machines now. We taking over. And so from there, they have to go in and retrieve this cup, and basically these people are worshiping this machine. Well, it turns them into a machine. Eyes coming out of a socket using as like a something, I don't know. Arm turns like a big blast saw and shit like that. And so her and Andre, I believe that's her name, infiltrate the lair, get the chalice back. You do see He-Man, but it's in flashbacks. So he died in the episode, if you remember. So it's in flashbacks that he's in this episode. Because Teela's, when she goes back to these certain places, she has all these memories of her and He-Man fighting together and shit like that. And so from there, basically, she ends up getting the chalice back to the old woman who hired them. Until then, she decides to hire them for another job. Where she's like, hey, look, I need y'all to come with me to take this chalice to its rightful place. And so they end up taking it to the rightful place, which is Castle Grayskull, where Adam, a.k.a. He-Man and Skeletor, died. And I forgot to mention, the whole castle changed into like this huge crystal castle, and not like the actual skull castle, once the power was released back in episode 1. And so they get back to the place, and originally Andre was all for it. I think she probably came up much later on after all the shit happened, because she didn't understand any of it. And this is where Tila was like, no, fuck that. I'm not going back to that place. Too many bad memories, too much shit going on. But at the end of the day, she ended up going because her friend ended up going. So they ended up going, and I think Tila, it didn't say how, but Tila found out that Evelyn was the sorceress, which I kind of figured. So, she's getting ready to take her ass out, but then that's when the good sorceress tells her, no, I hired her. This little bit of magic, like this little orb of magic is all that's left. We need to get the rest of the shit back, or we need it so we can go, get the power swords and, restore power magic back to Eternia. So basically from there, the Pussycat Tiger, Evelyn, and Arthur, I don't know what the fuck her name is. Tila and her friend, basically, they go on this adventure where they have to go get Man-at-Arms. They end up having this whole thing by, I believe, episode 3, where they kind of get pissed off, where she's still pissed off. But in the end, they know it's a bigger thing going on here where they have to return magic back to Eternia. So they all go on this adventure and end up going to this place, basically hell, where a even creepier looking version of Skeletor is there, but it's not. It's basically he's the ruler of this hell domain. And he basically, he ends up separating the team. They all end up having to fight off some kind of fear. Not what they're afraid of, but it's just some kind of fear. And so Tila basically gets told, look, if you want to save your friends and get this half of the sword, you must confront your fear. So she ends up fighting some evil version of He-Man. And, in so many words, she come to find out that she was really afraid of, I guess, herself taking on the responsibility that, whatever the responsibility is, she had to take on. And she ends up unlocking some type of power, ends up gaining the sword. And right before they end up moving on to heaven, once the team is split up, they defeat all the fears. Once they get ready to move on to the heaven, the evil, crazy looking Skeletor motherfucker, he shows up, tries to, pretty much kill them. And that's when the little guy, I can't remember what the fuck his name is, he wears like a little red hat. You can't see his face, just his eyes. But he uses his magic to stop the crazy Skeletor looking dude. And they ended up, he sacrificed himself, he dies. So they ended up going to heaven. So then, they took what was left of his suit and, they lay it by a tombstone. And that's where they find out that Adam is there. It's basically Eternia. This is basically where other heroes, other He-Man before his He-Man, other champions basically are at rest. But they're up walking around almost like they're having some their adventure of their own there. And so Tila with Adam go into some big race. And the others went to go see some other version of a champion. I forgot what his name is. And they basically are trying to take the two halves of the sword and bring them together again. So that's what they're working on. So they turn the whole fortress into like a one big fire ember. And they managed to put the swords back together again. Because the robot dude who was with them, I forgot about this dude. The robot dude who was with them, who was with Man-at-Arms, all along with Beastman, basically with everything went out of whack once Skeletor He-Man died. So some of the villains ended up working with the good guys, some of the villains stayed villains. So Evelyn, Evelyn and Beastman ended up working with Tila, her friend, little short dude with the red hat, and also, and also, the robot dude who was with Man-at-Arms. So, they end up getting to heaven. Tila goes without him. They, the other team, the rest of the team manages to, get the sword put back together. But this is not before, but this is basically what happened is they managed to get the sword. They managed to get the sword back together as one. But what happened was they all ran outside while the robot dude took what was a little bit of the power from Eternia, used some of that power, and shot it out of his chest to forge the swords. It took like a lot of fucking power, some shit that no regular forger could fuck with. So they end up putting the sword back together again, and he ended up dying because it blasted him, so it blasted him in pieces and shit. So he died, And then fast forward, the other champions tell Adam, look, if you leave here, basically this is paradise. If you leave here, you can't come back. And so he makes a choice. It's by episode 5, I believe, to go with, his friends, his team. So they go back to Eternia. And, Man at Arms is shocked to see him. The Empress, or not the princess, but the good sorceress is surprised to see him. And so, the sword is back together again. And so Tila gives Adam the sword. Tila gives Adam the sword. And, she's like, hey, do you remember the words? He's like, hey, you never forget. And he takes the sword, says the words. As soon as he says the words, Skeletor breaks out of the orb that was holding the power from the, for Eternia. He breaks out of the orb that was holding the power for Eternia, because it was all they had left. He breaks out of that. He basically told all the, his old minions and the heroes, I was hiding here because once the explosion went off, I had to hide my essence. So he hid in there. So then the evil guys go back to being evil and go work with Skeletor. But he ends up taking this sword, stabs Adam. So yeah, spoiler alert, Adam dies twice. In the first episode and the 5th episode. So Skeletor takes the sword, stabs Adam. He's laying there dying. I don't think he did, but dying. And he says he has the power, and all of a sudden you just see, like him completely transform into this more badass looking version of himself. And you see him kind of like hover over the castle. And that's basically pretty much the whole fucking season. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I did enjoy this season from episode 1 to episode, I'll probably say 4.5. The reason is, by the time you get to episode fucking 4, at the end of it, they end up finding Adam. And from a lot of people's videos that were bitching and complaining about Kevin Smith fucking this show up, yes, I get it. Maybe, yes, there definitely was a lot of He-Man shown in the fucking trailers. And then you watch the show and there's barely any He-Man except for flashbacks. I didn't have a problem with that. Even if you lied, fuck it. I don't give a shit. I didn't grow up watching this in the 80s. I wasn't born when this shit came out. If I was just being born. So it is what it is. But I didn't have a problem with any of that. My problem was that they brought He-Man, a.k.a. Adam, back way too fucking soon. To me, I would have been comfortable if they would have let him stay dead till about maybe season 2, halfway through, depending on how many episodes season 2 would have gotten, because it's broken up the show was broken up into 3 parts. So this is just part 1, and then we got 2 other parts. But we don't know when they're coming out. Hopefully they come out soon, because I'm curious to see what's gonna happen. So I'm curious, is Adam dead? Did he just suffer a wound and he's gonna be okay? But maybe they have to get the power sword back again and try and get it to Adam so he can become He-Man again. Because right now Skeletor delivered the blow to Adam and he's bad. He's even more badass now. So I know he's really gonna be talking shit, but it was funny in this season, so I know it's gonna be funny in the later seasons. But yeah, man, that's what I was. Like I said, I've seen a lot of the videos. I haven't watched them, but I've seen a lot of the, clickbait bullshit. And I was excited to watch it. And, I'm trying not to get too down on it. Because, like I said, I wanted to see, when you had this show, you had this void where Adam was gone. A.k.a. He-Man was gone. You had Skeletor gone. You had the people moving on with their lives without their champion, trying to figure out what the fuck we're going to do now. How are we going to move on with our lives? And it made it real interesting to have this void. And now, he's back. And, sort of, but he's dying or dead. I'm not sure. We'll find out in season 2. So we're going to find out what's going to happen. And I'm honest, man, I'm trying to calm myself down. I'm still a little upset because I didn't want to see Adam come back so fucking soon. I wanted to keep him going for at least maybe season 2. Even if he would have came back in flashbacks, I would have been fine with that. Or at least to season 3. And I get it. The show is called He-Man and Masters of the Universe Revelations. So you can't really have a show without He-Man. But still, maybe I just need to be more open-minded about it. And just show the fuck out. Wait till season 2 and see what the fuck is going to happen. If he got killed off again, it's kind of stupid because it's like, shit, we did all this work to bring his ass back just to have him get killed by the end of the fucking, by the end of, season 1. So, fuck it. I'm gonna have an open mind about this. We're gonna wait to season 2, find out what the fuck happens with Adam and the other Masters of the Universe. Because right now, the Master of the Universe is Skeletor. And like I said, I know he's gonna be even more badass. I know he's gonna be talking a whole lot more shit. I know it's gonna be exciting. I know it's gonna be interesting. And to the people that are sitting here bashing Kevin Smith, go fuck yourselves. Because he was hired to create a show. And that's what he fucking did. And all y'all are bitching and crying because, it's a lot more about Tila and not so much about, you see more Tila than you see HeMan. Honestly, other than that little ending right there, I enjoyed everything. I thought it was interesting. It kept me interested from start to finish, from episode 1 all to episode 5. Other than the ending, everything else I found was great. And it's good that you don't have an endless fucking battle of HeMan versus Skeletor from episode 1 to 5, rehashing and retelling the same old fucking story. So I'm interested to see where they go in season 2 and in season 3. I guess maybe it's a good thing that it's a short season and not like 10 or 15 episodes. So it'll be good to see where it goes because, it makes you more focused on the story instead of having like 10 or 15 episodes or 20 episodes where it feel like it drags on. So it condenses it all, so it makes all this stuff happen in this half-hour show. I think it was a half hour. But like I said, to everybody bashing Kevin Smith, lay the fuck off, man. Y'all gonna be all right. It's a fucking cartoon. It's a fucking cartoon. And y'all giving Kevin Smith shit over a fucking cartoon. There's more important shit going on in the world, and y'all bitching about a fucking cartoon. Y'all creating all this clickbait, trying to drag Kevin Smith down over a fucking cartoon. Because if you look at Rotten Tomatoes score, I think it's like 96, 97. But the audience score is like a 27, 26. So that's pretty fucking low. In my opinion, Kevin Smith, this was good. I enjoyed it. I can't wait to season 2. Like I said, other than the ending that I had a little bit of an issue with, I'm looking forward to see where this shit goes in season 2 and season 3. So bravo to you. Bravo to you. If I had a hat, my hat off to you, man. So with that being said, I'm going to end this video right now. And y'all just let me know in the comment section below. What did you think about my review of HeMan Masters of the Universe Revelations? Leave the comments down below. And until next time, I'm Big O, and this is The Big O Show. Peace.